Hi, I'm Lars, and welcome to my shortest video ever. Here are like 20-ish things that I hate about being a Beatles fan. It's mostly about other Beatles fans. How could you know anything about the Beatles? You weren't even there. Don't quote the ancient scriptures at me, for I was there when they were written. Okay, Clarice, listen, I had nothing to do with the year that I was born. That has everything to do with my parents. I am still capable of reading, listening, and enjoying. Did not know that the Beatles' legacy has to die with you. Do you need some Dilaudid? You're not a real fan unless you have actually seen them live. Oh, with what money, Janet? I can hardly afford groceries. Also, you're not a real fan if you listen to XYZ versions or prefer XYZ versions. You're not a real fan if you like the remixes, re-releases, or anything like that. You're not a real fan if you like the order of the US albums over the UK albums. You're not a real fan if you only listen to the UK albums and never the US albums. You're not a real fan if you don't listen to the music the way that I listen to the music. I really don't understand the hang-up. I really don't get why you care. Why can't we just all enjoy the music? You think you're so smart? I've read about the Beatles. I've read about the Beatles. Ooh, I think you should read more about the Beatles. Oh God. You haven't read anything about the Beatles. Yeah, you're right. Yoko didn't break up the Beatles. Yeah, you're right. I also don't know anyone who actually, legitimately, with their whole body, believes that anymore. Like, I literally don't know anyone who still believes that. I think it is extremely naive to say that she had nothing to do with it. She's like one of 6 major factors that had something to do with it. She came across during a pretty bad time, and I would say that Linda McCartney definitely had something to do with contention amongst the group, but I think Yoko had something to do with it as well. Did Yoko break up the Beatles? No, it was not going well. She probably expedited the process, but I literally don't know anyone, a single person, who blames her for breaking up the Beatles. I don't know a single person. George and Paul hated each other. Nope. John and Paul hated each other. Nope. Ringo and... What? The Beatles wouldn't exist without this band. The Beatles wouldn't exist without that band. The Beatles didn't make good music until this band. This is true for every form of art and for every act of art. Relax. John sucks as a musician and a human being. Paul sucks as a musician and a human being. George sucks as a musician and a human being. Ringo sucks as a musician and a human being. Oh, you better hold me back. What are you fucking talking about? Excuse me. You know what? Take your earrings out. Let's fucking go. I'm gonna pull your hair and smash your face into the table. Whoa! So actually, I read Philip Norman's Shout, and I gotta say, you guys, he actually had a point when we were talking about Paul. What? Carnival of Light. When do you think that they're going to release Carnival of Light? I'm never going to listen to any Beatles music until they release Carnival of Light. No Beatles release is valid until they release Carnival of Light. Carnival of Light. I want Carnival of Light. Literally, a temper tantrum. Did you know that John Lennon's activism is performative? You should stop talking about him in peace because his activism is performative. The message behind activism and the way that people have done protests and what is considered performative has changed over the last 60 years. Messaging has changed. What is found to be effective has changed. The way that John and Yoko actually addressed their activism was very much art-centric. So everything was about aesthetic and what they found to be artful. That was part of it because they're weird artists, weird little weirdos. They're the weirdest people I've ever paid attention to. Performative by today's standards? Yes. Performative by the standards when they were doing bed-ins? Absolutely not. I am begging the younger generations, this includes me, to start contextualizing history. We cannot weigh what we consider moral today or what we consider good today with what was considered good or moral then. It's important to know the context and the reality of things that were happening then. Paul McCartney is dead! Paul McCartney is dead. Have you read about this? Paul McCartney is dead. Paul McCartney is dead. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. John Lennon was a wife beater. He was an abusive piece of shit and nobody talks about it. Honestly, you really just need to watch my video on domestic violence. I'm not trying to like toot my own horn, but it's good. And if you're gonna be talking like that specifically, I want you to be entirely informed on the situation with John and Ringo and their history of domestic violence. You need to know what you're talking about if you're going with that. You really do. I'm not even being a bitch. I'm being so fucking serious. That's why I made that video. This Beatle's the best. That Beatle's the best. This Beatle is the reason why the Beatles exist. That Beatle is the reason why the Beatles exist. Paul was mad at John for dead, but John was mad at Paul for doing da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And if the Beatles didn't pay more attention to this, then they wouldn't have done this. And if the Beatles didn't do this, then they wouldn't have done that. And without Ringo, they may have been better. And if with Ringo, they were better. Listen. The Beatles became the Beatles because the combination of the four of them. There's really not one best Beatle. They wouldn't have become the Beatles, the phenomenon, the cultural and world-shaking thing that they are, if it wasn't that combination. And that is evident in the way the lineup went. The proof is in the pudding. Now, these are specific to me, not just as a Beatles fan, but as a Beatles YouTuber, as the long-form Beatles YouTuber. Lars, make a monkeys video. With Enchanted Essays making monkeys videos, I'm good. We've already got the expert. Go subscribe to Enchanted Essays. Why would I tread on the toes of perfect feet? What the hell does that mean? Lars, make a Rolling Stone video. Lars, make a Beach Boys video. No, it's never gonna happen, Suzanne. I'm never gonna make an in-depth Beach Boys video. I'm not sure what everyone's hang-up is about me making a Beach Boys video. It's not gonna happen, you guys. There has to be like a long-form Beach Boys YouTuber. There has to be. I suggest whoever that person is, somebody comment it, and you guys can go subscribe to them. Is there anything you actually like about the Beatles? Everything. I love everything about the Beatles. I even love this stuff about the Beatles. I love how complex the fan base is. I love the infighting. I love the insanity. I love the fact that it's been 60 years and people are still as mystified, as angry, as passionate, as emotional as they've ever been. I love the fact that we're still writing about them. We are singing about them. We are inspired by them. We are changed by them. I love everything about the Beatles. By the way, I made a 7-hour video on the TV show Lost. Now y'all come back now here. Bye!
My sweet Lord. My Lord. My Lord. But it takes so long, my Lord. My sweet Lord.